In the hectic world we live in, what do we need to create whole families from the inside out? It starts with balancing your own body, mind, and spirit. Learn practical tips to get calm, beat stress, find wellness, and raise healthy children. Next on Living Smart. Welcome to Living Smart, the show designed to help you get the most out of life. For the past 25 years, Elizabeth Irvin has worn many hats. She's been an ICU nurse, a midwife, a childbirth educator, yoga instructor, an author, and a mother of 3. She's also a proponent of integrative medicine and is the educational partner with Dr. Andrew Weil's Well Baby program. Her message for families is clear, particularly for moms. Prevent illnesses before they occur by taking care of yourself, because by doing so, you'll take care of your whole family. In her book, Healthy Mother, Healthy Child, Creating Whole Families from the Inside Out, this spokesperson for healthy living shares with us how to find peace in the midst of motherhood. Even if you're not a mother, the lessons learned will give you tips on leading a more balanced life. Great to have you here. And I'd like to start with us looking at some of the lessons from Healthy Mother, Healthy Child. So let's look. You wrote the book as a result of your child getting sick, so tell me a little bit more about Healthy Mother, Healthy Child.
Yes, Patty. Well, my son Sam, who's now 15, when he was born, he had a rare skin disorder called urticaria pigmentosa, as well as his severe eczema. And because of that, he had to be wrapped like a mummy. And I was working at a hospital in London at the time, and all the doctors that I worked with, they couldn't fix him. We were just treating the symptoms. And so, you know, it's funny, a mother will do something for her child before she'll do it for herself. And so because of this situation, I had to reach outside of my comfort zone, get outside of my box and find a way to help him. So we just began a whole new way of living, a natural lifestyle that involved things like just very good, simple foods, you know, cleaning up our environment and adding some integrative therapies into our life. 4 years after this began, Sam was healed.
Amazing.
And he
Isn't
wasn't
it
supposed to
amazing?
be. Yeah,
Right.
he was supposed to live with this disease process till puberty. So I feel we got 10 years back on his life and a whole new way of living, and I became very passionate.
Well, and the thing is that you hear stories about this all the time, even with serious illnesses like cancer or diabetes. There's so much you can do, and that's what we're here. Why is it important for a woman to create a healthy, balanced life?
You know, it's a really good question, because I think so many women are willing to put so much before them, before taking care of themselves. But in actual fact, as women, we're the grounding force in our family. And if we can reclaim the healing wisdom in our own body, you know, when a woman betters her life, her whole family benefits.
That's right. I like what you said about the wisdom within, because we have it within us to know what's really good for our bodies. What are some of the 3 principles, let's say, of healthy living?
Right. Well, 3 principles principles. Before I tell you, I'd like to tell you a quick story about my own self-healing. When I was telling you about Sam, I also lived with years of eczema. I was 34 when Sam was born, and I had lived.
Was it genetic in a way?
Yes, you're born with a predisposition to allergies, and mine had manifested in eczema, and I'd lived with that for 34 years. And so when I started cleaning up my act, getting my life healthier, my eczema went away after 34 years. So
how long did it take
testimony. It took about a year and a half.
Okay.
So it's a slow, gentle process of allowing your body to get back into balance and self-heal.
Okay.
The 3 principles that I would say to follow in allowing your body to be at its very best. The first is, is taking care of your body, mind, and your soul. So when we talk about our body, I'm talking about things like basic principles that we all know, simple but not always easy. So foundations of exercise, good nutrition, proper sleep, drinking enough water, relaxation. These principles are important. They're not difficult. They're just not always easy to do. The second thing I would say is allowing time for our mind to relax. We are constantly bombarded with information and stimulation. And, just like we download our emails from our computer or our voicemails from our phone, we need to download some space in our brain. So if I could, I'd love to show you an example.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I know it's easy.
This is what I'm talking about. So using a breathing and body awareness exercise to engage in, just a little bit more quiet, still space.
Okay, let's do it.
If you just gently close your eyes, you've got your legs uncrossed, so bring all of your awareness, all of your attention to your feet on the ground, noticing that your feet are touching the ground. And now bring all of your awareness, all of your attention to the fact that you're sitting in this chair. You can feel your bottom resting in the chair. Your shoulders are coming back and down. Your head and neck's in line with your spine. All of your awareness, all of your attention is on your body. Just for this moment, you're thinking about your body. Feet, bottom, hips, shoulders, back of your head. And now, just for now, take all of your attention, all of your awareness to your breathing. We breathe 24/7. We usually just don't think about it. So right now, think about the fact that you're breathing in and you're breathing out. And one more time, breathing in. And now a nice, long, deep exhalation out. And open your eyes.
Wow, I'm still here. Can I go somewhere else?
So what happens?
This is amazing.
It's about just bringing your awareness to your body and your breath.
I think what most people don't realize is that, we say, I can't meditate, because I'm one of those.
Right.
I can't meditate an hour. I can't meditate even 15 minutes, but I can breathe.
Right.
And all you need sometimes is just to calm down, is just to breathe.
Absolutely.
And think about what you're doing. Think about, take a deep breath.
Yes.
And out. Anyway, it's that simple.
It is.
Now, you lived in Europe
for
many years, and you found that Europeans, and I know this as well, that Europeans tend to do more integrative medicine. They use more Eastern, and they use both Eastern and Western medicine. Tell me what you learned from that, and some of the things that you were like, wow, this is amazing.
Yes, okay. Well, I did live in England for 15 years with my family, and I was a nurse there, worked in the healthcare system as well as was a mother, so I lived on both sides of the fence. And what I learned was how to integrate medicine, and that there's definitely a place for both. I mean, I feel I'm very much a spokesperson for integrative medicine, and that means we use conventional medicine as a last effort if we have to.
But not as a preventive
Absolutely.
measure.
And that's the difference. We really put more ownership back on our body. And I learned about that through, for example, the doctor that I took my children to, the pediatrician. He was an MD as well as a homeopath.
Wow.
So we were able to experience that firsthand, and I became very passionate about it. And that's how I...
Didn't we have homeopathy in the United States for a long time, and then it just kind of disappeared?
Well, homeopathy began in the 1800s in Germany, and I think it was in the U.S. in the early 30s.
In the 19th century,
in the 19th century, in the 30s and 40s.
In the 20th century,
Yeah, came into existence and then lost its
popularity
fashion.
or whatever.
Yeah, again, it became out of fashion.
But now it's becoming more common, and at least naturopaths are using more homeopathy. Can you explain what it is?
Homeopathy is it's a vibrational essence of an element. So, for example, if we're talking about arnica as sort of a famous remedy of homeopathy, and arnica is used for muscle soreness. And so what happens is it's like treats like, and they take the vibrational essence of arnica, and you take it as a drop or sometimes as a little pellet, as a capsule, and that then is and again sort of in a general description, that would be sort of like an immunization. How you take an immunization, you
right,
take
it's the same substance, yes.
Yes, to create.
So it builds up your immune system.
Yes, but it works very interestingly and on different levels with different types of people for different illnesses. So it's better to use a trained professional homeopath, somebody who really knows what they're doing versus just buying something on the counter.
Well, and that's the case for almost everything, even vitamins
yes.
and supplements. You have to know
yes.
what kind, the quality, and who you're talking to, and if they
yes.
know. Let's talk about healthcare reform, and
yes.
and I don't want to go. I don't want this to be a political discussion.
Right.
But you said that there's some things that we should shift, that we can do ourselves,
yes.
so we don't have to depend on others to do.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I think that really when we talk about the healthcare crisis that we're in, and my work with Dr. Andrew Weil has really, we've talked quite a lot about that. He's very much an advocate for the problems that we're having in healthcare, and so it really comes down to ownership, I think, and in prevention. So some of the things that we've talked about, when the more that we can do, the more that we can take care of ourselves, and the experiences that I've learned from living in Europe, where if you get sick there, you need to go stand in line to get seen.
Right.
You have to wait maybe 3 hours to
right.
see a doctor. In America, we don't want to do that,
no.
so we always run to the doctor whenever we have something wrong and we want that magic bullet to fix us. I think that America needs to take a slower, more gentle process of taking care of themselves. I think it starts with small steps, and I think the ownership does come back to us so that we don't, have to go stand in line and call on our health practitioners and our healthcare system for every little thing.
And the biggest issue there is what we put in our mouths and what we put in our, really what it comes down to, and so we'll talk about that throughout the show. But let's talk about prevention, and what you mean by prevention.
Well, prevention, I like to use the example of a reservoir. Our body is like a reservoir, and we fill it up with all sorts of things. We fill it up with our food, we fill it up with our stress level, we fill it up with, the environment. There's things that we put in our reservoir that we can control. There's things we can't, but there are things we can. And so if we can pay attention to those things that we can control and lower the reservoir. So what happens if the reservoir fills, the dam breaks, and you manifest in dis-ease or disease.
Right.
So keeping that reservoir low. And if I could, I'd like to share a little story about myself.
Yes.
So when the girls were, I was pregnant with them, actually this was 19 years ago now, I gained 50 pounds. And so,
which is not uncommon for a lot of women when they get pregnant.
But
but you had twins.
Yeah,
so.
and I use that as my excuse. But my real excuse was I love jam donuts. I ate jam donuts all the time. And so
you had sort of a craving, and then once you start eating it, it gets worse.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so my husband, it was around Christmas time. My husband had taken us to the theater. It was the Royal Albert Hall, a beautiful hall, to listen to Handel's Messiah. And there were these gorgeous red velvet seats. And I remember thinking, as we saw the seat, I thought, I don't think I'm going to fit in that seat. And I know my husband was thinking the same thing, like, I don't think she's going to fit in that seat. And so I somehow wedged myself in there, but by the interval, I was so uncomfortable, the lower half of my body was numb. So I said to Ron, I go, pull me out, get me out of here. He got me out, and we left. But, it was a perfect example of being I was way overweight.
Right. And you didn't have to be. And we're going to talk about that, because you actually have a sort of a healthy living plan for the whole family. So share with us some of the things, basic things that people can do to start with, the micro steps.
Yes. Well, I think it really does, start in small steps. And so it's things like what we just did, this breathing and body awareness exercise,
which is so simple.
Yes, the simple things, eating right. I really believe that eating proper foods, fresh, seasonal, whole foods, it's not rocket science, but it's something that we have to decide we're going to dedicate our energy and set our intention. And where is that what is it that we want to do to create health and well-being?
Well, Well, the intention, though, there's some basic, like, practical tips, too. And the intention is important.
Yes.
But one of the things that you said, the first thing you did was you got rid of all the processed foods. You got rid of all the carbonated drinks. You got rid of a lot of stuff that you had, the donuts, of course, that's a given. But all the stuff that you had in your refrigerator and your, you know, food pantry, you got rid of it.
Yes, and food is one big piece. I mean, I think people take that for granted a little bit and don't realize how powerful. You know, way back in time, you know, food has always been known as our medicine, and medicine is our food. That's a famous quote from Hippocrates.
Right, absolutely.
You know, so I think that if we can use food in a very powerful way as one piece, you know, I think we're a multi-pronged approach. We go back to that caring for body, mind, and soul.
You talk a lot about yoga and breathing and relaxation. Tell me, you already showed us one exercise, but yoga seems like something really difficult to do, and yet you don't need to do that much. Again, it's to the degree, right, of what you choose to do.
Absolutely that. You know, I was teaching a workshop this Sunday as a mother-child workshop that I do, and that was my basic point in the workshop. You know, for a very small amount of time, I'm talking, you know, 5 or 10 minutes gently stretching your body, you know, 5 minutes of a breathing, a bit of focused breathing, and a guided relaxation, you know, so we're 20 minutes in total. You know, how powerful that is to tapping into our natural healing ability.
And this leads to the next question, which is we don't realize that we've got a serious problem in our children with childhood obesity and childhood allergies.
Yes.
And what can you say about that?
Well, you know, what happened when I moved back from England, I had a private practice here in Houston, doctor referred, MD referred private practice, and I worked with kids who had these problems, ADD, allergies, obesity, hyperactivity. And the moms and I and the child would meet, and we would do a regime of, you know, gentle yoga, stretching, breathing, body awareness, relaxation. We'd talk about nutrition, what they were eating, you know, how they could clean up their diet a little bit, not a huge shift, but just small shifts. And we were getting results, Patty, better results than they were getting with their conventional, you know,
Absolutely.
medicine.
Let's view some of the things that you taught in A Moment's Peace. Let's take a look. How can we find more calm, or moms find more calm amidst the chaos that we live in?
You know, Patty, that's a good question. I think that when I wrote A Moment's Peace, you always write about what you need most in your life.
Right.
And I obviously needed a moment's peace. Well,
you had 3 kids at the same time.
Yes, and I had twins that were toddlers and then a newborn who was sick. And I was really stressed out, you know, and I needed calm in my everyday. And so that's when I think about it, you know, the girls, I always look back now and think about the fact that they were like twin Zen masters that had descended to teach me the gift of patience.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, I need that one too.
in A Moment's Peace, I try to write about the things that I use that help me. So, you know, present moment, meditation, yoga, using your intuition, looking for signposts, you know, doing things that you love that feed your spirit.
Absolutely.
You know, those were things that helped me.
You said present moment. One of the most popular books was The Power of Now. What exactly does that mean, and how do you find your present moment or teach others to find their present moment?
I'm so glad you asked, Patty. It's something I'm really passionate about. I think it's one of the best tips I could give in creating more calm is staying present in our moment, which basically means we don't think about anything before, we don't think about anything after, we stay engaged right here.
Right.
And I think it's very powerful. I like to use the example of everyday activities because moms were busy people. You know, it's hard to set aside time to do separate things, so let's integrate those things into our daily life.
Right.
So, for example, this morning I took a shower. Most mornings I take a shower if I'm lucky, and in that shower I use the moment to be in the present moment in my shower. So I take in the scent of my soap, and I feel that warm water soothing my muscles, and I bring my attention back to the shower every time I find my mind wandering. And the reason I do that is so when I step out of the shower, I feel refreshed and energized and ready to go. And I also feel so passionate about present moment that I set up a nonprofit website called Be in the Moment. And there are lots of things, lots of inspiration on that website that allow people to come to that so they can practice more about being in the moment.
And they can find that on our website as well. We'll have that up. There are things that you talked about, and in a way what you're talking about is meditation, because meditation is really focus, whether it's your breathing or with focusing on one idea or one concept, or whether it's the water, but it's living the moment. It's living the present time. But let's talk about meditation and how to get ourselves to be more still. I mean, you already gave an example.
Yeah, so through that example, I think that's a good thing. It's a good jumping off point for people, because what we did there, Patty, people can do that anywhere. You know, you don't even have to be sitting in a chair. You can be standing in line at the bank or at the grocery store. You can be riding on your bus home, you know, driving your car, not closing your eyes, but you know, if you're at a stop sign,
a little dangerous.
you know, it's incorporating that, you know, into your everyday, because I think when we do that, that's when it works. And so meditation comes in small steps, and I also think it comes when we don't try too hard. You know, there's one thing about being disciplined and setting the ritual. That's important, and that's key. You know, deciding you want to learn to be more calm, deciding that maybe I do want to try to learn to meditate in 2011. But it's also about taking it in very small steps, and that can be as much as breathing in body awareness before you get out of your bed in the morning to set the intention for your day, and breathing in body awareness before you go to sleep at night to be grateful for your day.
Well, even prayer is a meditation, right?
For sure.
So give me examples of, I think you have somewhat, but give me examples of what feeds your spirit.
Well, that's a good question. I think that we're all different, you know, and so feeds my spirit are things that I think use my right brain, you know, things that I don't have to think too hard. I get to be creative, so creative process. And it's always a process, and there's always something new. For example, in 2011, one thing that I want to do to feed my spirit more is learn how to take a better photograph.
Okay, well, I want to ask you to remember, what are the 3 most important things that we should remember about today's presentation?
Right. So of all the things that I've talked about, I think number 1 is I told you Sam's story. I told you what happened to me to make a catalyst for me to change. Think about you, and for all the viewers out there to think about what's their story. What's the one thing in their life that drives them crazy, that just makes them think, why did that happen to me? And use that discomfort place, that place that really feels uncomfortable, to move into a new and better place. That's the number 1 thing.
So the people that give you a hard time, the master teachers, they're there for a reason.
Yes.
To take you to a higher level.
I believe
what else?
that. Number 2 is that we need to take care of ourselves in a 3-pronged approach. That's body, mind, and soul. So whether that's a breathing and body awareness exercise, or nourishing yourself through a family meal, the ritual of a family meal, or, you know, engaging in your shower in a present moment. Choose one of these ideas, one of these things that we've talked about today, and use that to begin. And once you've mastered that, then move to the next one, because healing starts in a slow, gentle process.
Let's take a look at some examples of how to take care of you, because you did a wonderful video of this.
Right, taking care of you.
That's beautiful. And what is the third thing?
You know, it really is taking care of you,
Right.
and that ripples out to everyone around you when you take care of you.
Which is a lot about what we just saw. Tell me, how do you know you're living smart?
Patty, I know I'm living smart when what I call in my groove. And in my groove means that I'm in the moment, that I'm, you know, things are effortless, things are flowing, and I feel really good. And when things get challenging and things get irritating and I get cranky, then I know I'm out of my groove and that I need to get back into balance and allow myself to do that. So living as a healthy mother, you know, really just as a role model, I'm raising healthy children and then passing that on for generations to come, taking the pressure off the healthcare system.
Simple things that you do every day is you breathe, you do a little bit of yoga, but it's not that complicated what you're doing.
Right.
I think that's what people need to understand. It doesn't have to be that complicated.
Right. It's not complicated, but you know what it does is it takes discipline. It
Right.
takes, you know, it takes the dedication of the energy, setting the intention, and then, you know what, being a little disciplined to do it.
Thank you so much. What a great way to end the show. Thank you so much. And to learn more about healthy mother, healthy child, and living a more balanced life, go to our website. There you'll find a complete resource list. You can also email us or call us with your comments at 713-743-8513. And that's our show for today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Remember to live smart. I'm Patricia Gras. Have a balanced week.
For a transcript of this program, send $6.95 to the address on your screen. Please include the name of the guest.